Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Samuel Durbidge, or Samuel Loomis Newly Awakened. Now, this is my book channel, so I'm Samuel Durbidge. And regardless of what I explain and what I talk about, I want people to understand that we are all meant to be what we feel in our hearts. Doesn't matter about our flaws or the misspeakings or saying things incorrectly. It's about how we do our best to correct any things so that they can be understood better from our hearts. We're not always going to be perfect at everything. If you think people need to be perfected in everything, then you're connected to gang stalker programs. You're also connected to religious programs that want you to be perfect rather than being yourself. Now, some will actually twist that around and mention that they're just tired of being controlled or taking crap from people, and so they explain and they go after people that your vocabulary and different things matter. But there are issues that happen that where the programs get you to misspeak or to get you to make fun of someone who misspeaks rather than helping them by understanding what they are saying, by asking them in a kind way, oh, is this what you meant? And if you already know that that's what it's meant, it's still good and nice to mention it, but not in a sarcastic, rude way. See, what happens is they want you to do that to each other. One of the biggest things I've noticed is the scriptures say in the last days, and they mention this in the Book of Mormon, they mention this in the Bible. And again, I'm not religious. I'm just mentioning, I'm not part of any religion anymore because of what I learned. However, the information mentioned has been altered to control societies, and most religions have been taken over by gang stalker programs and cultish Zionists. That is different than what you're told about in the religion about Zion, the Bible and New Testament and Book of Mormon, Pearl Grace Prize, Doctrine and Covenants, all these other ancient texts from other religions. People are getting drawn to the Torah. People are aware of the Muslim teachings, the Quran, and all these different ideas. And it's just, I'm hearing it more and more that those in the gang stalker programs, that there are two sides. There are those that are going towards more Muslim teachings in some side, and then others going towards Christian teachings, and then a mix of the two or more, and Hindu teachings as well. And they're all taking away the focus of the healing arts of your following your heart and manifesting your desired life. They're trying to get us not to focus on that. They want us to be upset at each other. They want us to not trust the ideas of magical healing, is what they try to put it as, or as faith healing. They want to put our emotions to be affected by these problems. So what they do is they give terms and quotations saying we're separating the goats from the sheep, and they're basically profiling, and they're basically going after people that have noticed wrongdoings that individuals within the churches are doing, but they're forgetting about one of the biggest stories and awarenesses that Christ and ascended masters and people who actually cared about society, no matter what belief system they were, where they ignore that Christ and other beings who were able to heal and people who were peacemakers, what did they do? They healed everybody of every ethnical persuasion, illnesses, and everything. Right now, what's been going on is the reason why their religious teachings are coming true is because they have made it so. They have messed with the organization and they have caused it to go that direction. Now, most people who wake up who actually care about people or following their heart are getting inspirational information about unconditional love, where we're healing everybody, regardless of race, regardless of sexual preference, regardless of gender, whether you're a man or a woman, and they're correcting the system by doing what's right for the individual. See, what's happened is the religions were altered and they took the women apostles and teachers out of the scriptures and the ancient mystical writings, and they made their own new mystical writing propaganda controls. And when you read the Book of Mormon or the scriptures, the more you read it, the more insight you're supposed to get. And it's because it was infused with word phrases and feelings to get you to comply to what you're reading for a conditional healing, to make you feel somewhat protected by the words you're reading. Because some of it were meant to be unconditional for healing, like full connection. So even with the false alterations or the controlled alterations, they took out the good or the explanation of how to do it fully by taking a couple of sentences out and explaining and then getting us to think differently than what the actual message back then was all about. And what they do is they have gotten you to say phrases like, the elect will be deceived in the last days. Well, why do people usually leave any kind of societal situation? I'm going to tell you why. It has to deal with abuse, and it has to deal with hiding cures and saying that it's only God's will to cure when we have our own knowledge from the creation of all connection, that we can cure and find it out ourselves by listening to our hearts and asking with our hearts, knowing that there is answers out there and that we'll find them and be led to them. When you do that, you get drawn to those who know. I got drawn to people within that church I was a part of, who had the knowledge and knew that the church was hiding them from its members. And that even the individuals who started the churches knew about this information. Well, where did Joe the Smith and others get this information? Well, a lot of them were connected to secret society lodges who had ancient texts, or connected to people who were connected to ancient tech understanding, such as they had agreements with royals and others, and they had agreements with the Mason connections. And and the more knowledge you have, the more trade of knowledge you had, and you utilize in those societies, the more power you had, the more control over society you had. And the more you become unconditional love or aware, the more they try to make you look differently than what you are, and then they push you into doing certain things or following certain ideas. The problem I have with what has happened is I learned that the bad guys knew that organic vegan is good. And those who were considered leaders of churches knew about this, and they brought it up to people, but people didn't want to follow it. But they knew it from texts, from Mason lore and Mason information that came from ancient texts. And then they tried to hide this mystical information. Now, what was interesting is the military had these same texts. Now, who has all these texts? Well, the religions do. They have their own libraries of this information. But they're only going by what they want people to trust in. They made their own scriptures to control the society, to give them some knowledge, saying it's the full knowledge, or that it will adapt to the full knowledge. That's how they get you. They get you to look at something where they'll adapt to the full knowledge and get you to say, the scriptures say that in the last days people will fall, will leave the church, and and then Christ will choose his true followers, his sheep, take them home. Now, when I hear that, and I hear them calling us sheep, I'm starting to think, well, what are they going to use us as? When they call us sheep, when they call us sheeple, and when they call us things that are basically, they're calling us cattle, connected people. Why are we cattle? Why would we be controlled by a higher form as cattle? Are they going to slaughter us and eat us or use us as slaves? That's a slave teaching, calling us cattle, calling us his sheep, or gathering the sheep, gathering the people. What they've done is they've used that term more than what it was being mentioned as. And so he was talking about, I'm your shepherd, I'm there to free you and help you and guide you to the right place. He was just using analogies. But now what they're doing is they've turned it into a criminal organizations where they're calling us all sheep to be controlled, or to only follow what this person they say is the real Christ wants us to do, rather than following our own hearts. Ignore the healing because it doesn't matter. Do what doctors say. Get your vaccines, get your shots, get your whatever, and then you don't look at the research. Don't research it. Oh, but research it, but we never said not to research. We just said follow this, follow that. No, what they've done is they've said that when most people that left the churches are people that tried to let their leaders know and others know, and say, why are you hiding about the foods and what's going on with the foods, about GMOs and all this stuff? Why aren't you letting the people know? Why aren't you warning people about what's healthier to eat and what's not healthier to eat? Why aren't you teaching people or telling people about what actually helps cure you? Why are you hiding cures? What's your purpose of hiding cures? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting people to think that you can't cure yourself or you can't manifestly heal? And why are you hiding the techniques of how to heal, like Christ mentioned can happen and do, and that we all are able to? Now, I was told by a higher form, I almost died. If I stayed in the church, I would have died of cancer or worse, of the symptoms of the cancer or the diseases of the GMO foods. I would have been killed. I tried to tell the leaders and they pushed it away and they didn't do anything to help me. Plus, their bishop storehouses and other stuff have genetically modified foods or controlled chemical foods. Dyed food, powdered food that are, that they've actually bleached, chemically altered. Now, what is bleach? It has chlorine and other chemicals. What is those chemicals? They're chemical weapons. You put it with water and it's a chemical weapon. You eat it, it's a chemical weapon. What is the coronavirus? What are SARS? What are all of these other things and these diseases out there in the flu coming from? They're coming from those of us that have been told to get flu and stuff put in us through vaccines and stuff. I don't do flu shots or any of that because I'm allergic to the eggs and stuff that they put in. That's exactly what we're not supposed to be eating anyway, I found out. Now, I learned some of these things while I was in the church from people who worked for the Pentagon for that church I was a part of. And I realized at that time, that's when I started questioning the church, questioning the sacrament they try to give us. Then I get told this, and this is where the deception happens. They say, oh, a little bit won't hurt you. But then they say that you shouldn't smoke and you shouldn't drink. But then they say, but a little bit of drugs and a little bit of this won't hurt you. Isn't that what they told us not to do? See, they try to go around and hide this knowledge and cause us to lack in its awareness. And so anyway, I'm going to go into chapter 7 here of my book of Alien Perceptions of Possible Truth. Chapter 7 is the religion chapter that I had belief in at that time. What's interesting is I've noticed the people that respond, and they're using brain control responses rather than being there for other people and helping them. They're saying, oh, I know that this is the true church, this is the true thing, so Christ is going to choose us, we're going to be chosen, we're going to be, the wheats and the tares will be separated. No, what is actually said in the ancient text is those who believe in peace and care about peace will be with those beings that care about peace. Those who actually care about destruction and hiding healing will be with those that hide the healing, and those that cause harm to people will be with them, but then they're going to be with the organization of the mark of the beast, which is different than the freedom of what the higher form of peace is. So what they're going to also do is they're going to try to keep certain individuals in their programs to enslave them. They're going to try to keep people with their agreements connected, and they're going to do what they can to enslave other people. So what is horrible is, yeah, the gang stalker programs, but even those that bring it up and talk about it, they act like your friends. They're friendly to you, but it's their hearts you want to listen to. You want to listen to what their ideas are and what they're compromising, what they're choosing. And then when you bring it up to them, instead of freaking out over people and being aware, it's about bringing up this information and doing what's right. It's not about basically getting bought off, selling your soul for basically freedom to hide things. My issue, the reason why I got out of the church was it was unhealthy for me. It was unhealthy for others, and I found out that they were the cause of my unhealthiness. At first, they probably were trying to help me and helped a little bit to make it seem good growing up. But then over time, something happened in the middle of my life that pushed people towards more GMO foods or more control, more enslavement programs. But I've always had this feeling or told as I got into teenage year that I wasn't perfect because of choosing to do any kind of sexual sin like masturbation or something that's doctors and others will tell you is normal. But even the doctors are connected to the programs as well. So you just don't know who to trust. So what you got to do is you got to listen to your heart, and you got to be honest and tell people what's right. When you focus and find solutions and research, and you pray in your heart, and you really beg to your heart with all your vigor, without fear, but fear is okay. It's more of finding answers. It's not over-fearing, it's fearing enough to find answers. Basically, you notice there's something wrong. Instead of ignoring it, or not talking about it, and not letting it be known, you just shut up and comply? That's a Nazi Germany tactic. Now, people are going to freak out over me saying that, but it's the truth. If you look at the Mormon Church, and if you look at all the Zionist religions, sociology is the study of social interactions and things. If you look at Scientology, and you look at the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is what they want to be called, or the Church of Jesus Christ is what they want to be called. But they're about a conditional controlled. They're about following a Christ that only frees those that stay loyal to the religion that is said to have the full truth, that's not the full truth. It's altered truth. And the syndicates and the cult mentalities have taken over, the criminalized organizations have taken over that church. Even the members within that church and leaders don't even know that that's what's happened, or they they dumb themselves down to the knowledge and recognition of the criminal agreements. And they think the criminal agreements are necessary. What they've done is I've even was in that church and I even realized that there are people within the church, and I've heard a lot of Nazi sympathizing jargon on my mission and by other people where they kind of say, you know, you got to forgive people for their past for what they did and chose to do. But when what they've done is they've allied with people who were ex-Nazis, ex-mafia, ex-criminals, because they're about family. Protect your family. And they're about military, and military is protect your own. Policemen are protect their own. And it's all this mentality of brotherhood. What does that sound like to you? For those of you that have read the Book of Mormon, know about secret, have watched the show The Testaments, regardless of where they position where it was, the information being mentioned in there. What is brotherhood? Or sisterhood, or whatever? What is it? It is secret societies. It is a program that instead of humanity, instead of universal peace for all, universal and full abundance, it's brotherhood, sisterhood, to make you feel like, oh, you're part of something. And then what happens with that brotherhood and sisterhood? They start making rules and agreements. They start chanting and deciding who to take out and who to let in and who to let out, who to control, what to tell the people and what not to tell the people. You feel part of some specialized group that's in the know of what's healthy and what's not healthy. What did Christ say to that type of mentality of idea? What did he do when he went and he healed people? He just healed them. Now, there was times that he told those individuals, or they say that he told those individuals, to not tell people. But he knew what they would do, even though he told them not to do that. But why did he tell them not to do that? He was letting them know, don't tell people, because he knew that by telling people it might get to these syndicates that are around. But then they try to say the same thing within the religion groups of it. Basically, it was more for the safety of the individuals, I think, but he knew that they were going to tell people anyway. And so they tried to twist that and say, well, he warned them not to say it or told them not to say it or tell because he didn't want to have too much eyesight on him. I think what it was is he wasn't testing them. He was just being open about what the rules or requirements are required. But he knew that by telling them not to, he knew that they still would. But he still healed them. He still allowed the healing to them. He didn't ignore healing to them. He loved them and he appreciated them, and he knew that they would be okay by him telling them these things. And there were certain things that were told later on, or found later on, that he said even more stuff, and he taught people how to meditate. And Christ gave sermons longer than any recording I have done, or any speech that I've told people. Christ spoke longer than me, saying more. He did till dusk till dawn to people. And we are told to do the same, to preach and tell things to people in a peaceful nature for knowledge and awareness. Now, what Christ was teaching was simple ideas and ways to create reality or give knowledge to people to teach others how to handle and create. When people tried to worship him, what did he do? He ran away. He got away. And then at the time that he knew he would be overpowered by them. But then when he got in certain places, then he came back, and then those same people found him later that wanted to worship him and make him their king. And he said, "There you are. Me and you were looking for you. We want you to be our king," and all this stuff. So he told them different forms of knowledge of why he did what he did, why he taught in the way of healing that he mentioned. What happened is then they didn't like his answer. They wanted someone to rule over them. They didn't want to have to rule themselves. They didn't want to heal or do those things. Plus, he was following the rules of the law of the land and the requirements of the law of the land. And that's how the religions say. They say, well, we're just following what the law wants us, or what we're doing is legal. And to justify the act of not giving information to heal or ignoring the knowledge to heal, as if that justifies doing the evil or allowing the lack of healing to be not seen. Now, they say that certain people will leave his church or leave him. What I think is what's interesting is the scriptures or the teachings are saying, follow your heart. The church is within you, not in a tabernacle of clay. It's within you. You are that church. You are that connection. They're talking about meditation and healing and connecting to do the next right thing, to be inspired, to teach people that you can call Christ and any ascended master you're connected to that comes to you and tells you to call upon them to help heal and provide healing. Why would a demon tell you to call upon them to heal and provide you healing first, hug and ball with you, heal you or make you feel healed for 4 days, inspire you and tell you what you've been praying for to get answers for, and helping you when you tried asking your religious teachers who have the cures and knowledge, but they've been suppressing it from you. But then you get knowledge, and so you let people know of the knowledge, and that pushes the church from being able to be seen as amazing, because they don't want everybody to have the healing. Oh, yeah, we do charity. We do tons of billions of dollars of charity for people. But what foods are you giving them? What treatments are you doing for them? How are you healing them? What kind of healing are you doing for them? Are you saying that women can't heal? Are you saying children can't heal? Are you saying that prayers can't work? Oh, prayers work, but they work in this way and that way. No, they're unconditional. It's from your heart. Prayers work because you have belief in them. They also work because you follow this energy of inspiration, of knowing that you already have what you desire, and to do charity from the heart rather than being told to do it by leadership or a regime to do it. You're doing it because you know you can and that it's good to do that. And then why do religions get blessings more than those who don't? That's bullshit. There are many people that actually get healing that aren't part of any religion. Plus, we're told, and Christ said, heal everybody. Be there for everyone, unconditional. Let them be healed because they want to be healed. And fully heal them. See, Christ dealt with the same things I and others who left the churches are dealing with that the Pharisees did to Christ. He said that the Good Samaritans are better than those following a religion or following a regime. Isn't that interesting? But then they justify and say, well, Jews are evil and bad. What's evil and bad is that both the Zionists, the ones that are connected to both Jews and Christian connected, have within them Nazis that have multiplied within the ranks. Nazi descendants or German descendants that they said, well, if we can't win, then we'll just spread out within them like a virus, like secret Gideontum robbers, okay? They've been around since ancient times. They've survived through making themselves look good and going to places where they can hide and then reinsert themselves into societies and religions to control them because of their ability to pretend they're smart and to control people within. And they've learned tactics, but the tactics that can thwart their powers is to know that the healing and powerful abilities are unconditional. See, what they're scared of is people like me speaking out against it. So they try to use certain propaganda trickery of saying, oh, well, we're not supposed to know or whatever. They use the same analogies to trick and switch it to sound like they're going to be the ones that are saved and you won't be. Christ never said, don't save people. Be there for everybody. Love everybody. Forgive everybody. Heal them. And he said, forgive them, they do not know what they do. But he mentioned, stand up for yourself. Do what's right. In fact, they also altered it to show that there were female apostles and female teachers and testifiers as well, not just men. Women and men both have the power to heal. And so do children. Children are probably one of the most powerful ones, but they're also the most indoctrinated, or can be. They just want peace for everybody, and they just trust innocently, and that's why they're so coveted by individuals to control, because they're the next generation to indoctrinate and change, and to cause them to feel connected and controlled. What is interesting is even if they're in a religion and they've been baptized and they've been indoctrinated or controlled, and the agreements now say they can do subject tests on them because they got put into the agreements, and their covenants and agreements are within that religion and syndicate, a criminal religion connection, they now can keep them under the rules and make sure that they stay strong in those rules that they require them to. And if they slip up, then they get pushed around or teased or taught and slapped around and messed with, so that they slap around other people in the future, because that's what was done to them. See, they're teaching a fact of staying compliant, staying slaves. And if you can handle dealing with being beat up, you become the rulers, and then you become the one that makes rules over other slaves. So a slave gets access to being a leader instead of being enslavement anymore, because they've dealt with crap too much or dealt with situations a lot. So what is going on is it's about opening your mind and your awareness of what is it that really matters. What can I do to protect myself? Well, having allies may sound great and all, but your ally is the higher form connection, your heart, connected to the peaceful creation of the universe. Loving the earth, loving the plants, loving the animals is more than just what natives teach or have taught. It's more than that. Standing true to yourself. Being free to do as you know is needed for yourself. But doing what you know is right for others takes a lot more courage and bravery. And some people are afraid to do that. They're scared. And yes, they have family, but their family and others would be threatened by it. Well, the benefit of being abused and being pushed aside is you follow what's right, and you become a peacemaker and someone who can actually do the right thing And so you start with having things in your life and families and people, and then you lose that which you had. Well, didn't that happen to Job in the Bible? Didn't Enoch have the same? Enoch had the same problems in the Bible. Joseph of Egypt, he was thrown away by his family and put into slavery. His family sold him, were jealous of him, were upset at his insights, didn't like his peace of mind, the way that he was treated and loved, and given a coat of many colors. And so they turned against him or went against him. Then instead of talking and communicating to them with their hearts, they chose to be jealous of him. That happened to Nephi too. See, all these stories come from original origins of people that went through the same things to relate with it. That's why we relate to these stories, or we're taught or indoctrinated, and we're easily indoctrinated growing up into these stories, because we were noticing that we felt connected to them. They got us to be connected to it. But what I learned from all of these stories and awarenesses is, regardless whether they're real stories or not, I started to notice the controls within the stories. Job was being tested by God and allowing Satan to do everything to him, and said that he'll handle it. He'll know what to do. He believed in him. He trusted Job, according to the text teachings, and that he allowed Satan to do his worst to him. Now, there are many of us who don't consider ourselves perfect beings, or have been told we're imperfect or that we're sinners, when in fact, if you're following your heart, you are a perfect individual in some form. You're following your heart, which is connected to doing what's right, following the way of healing and knowledge, and doing what's right from the ancient text teachings, even if they just come from just science teachings that are said to be religious origins or just stories. They're giving us philosophy and science and awarenesses of energy that was coming from whoever originally taught us this, that come from beings who knew more about how it will work for our future, way long in our past. And so we had technology and knowledge of free energy technology, of how to utilize it. We turned into technology that wasn't free, that was controlled, and chemically to control and enslave, because of other species that intermingled to control it. The humanoid extraterrestrial societies. What I've learned and what I experienced is, yes, we have technology and phones and communications, and we use what we have to our advantages. It doesn't mean that we just don't appreciate the technology and the way to communicate, and that we're trying to go against them, the same ones that gave us these abilities to communicate and talk to people. But it's informing people about peace and healing, that we can become our own technology of communication once we learn and tap into that and free ourselves and cause our abilities to heighten and open up. So let's read this. I'm going to read chapter 7. Really not afraid to talk about these things. There is so much going on in this world, and many people are ignoring the stories and awarenesses of this. So I'm on page 114 of my book of Alien Perceptions of Possible Truths. I'm actually going to be correcting what I have told in this chapter. And the reason why is because I know it needs to be corrected and altered. to a degree. Now, there's some good stuff I'm sure that are in here, and I'll acknowledge that. I'm still very close to what I was, but I'm a lot better now. I actually am very open to my heart. I've noticed that if my information is so evil and it's supposed to deceive many, then why are there so many people not hearing it? That's how they get you in the religions. What they do is they get you to ignore people with great insight so that they can keep you controlled in their systems. And I'm not saying the religions are horrible or wrong. I'm a minister of a belief that we're all same in the same universe. I think that if you follow your heart, you follow what's right, and you correct what your religions are doing and allowing to hide, and you tell the truth and not let them hide these things that really matter, then you free yourself. But here's the issue why you're going to start recognizing why the religions aren't as good as they say they are. They will play with words and twist it and not talk to you flat out with their hearts. What they'll do is they'll use parables and they'll reverse the parable teachings. We all use parables and teachings, but I flat out tell you, all you have to do is just your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions is one. So basically, you just feel, think, and see it as a reality already. You know that it's real. You pray for your heart. You just ask simple prayer or simple focus and say, universe, self, God, creator, whatever it is your belief is connected to, and you say, thank you for all you do. Provide this for me now. Now. And then you pray together as a group, and you think in the same mind connection of unconditional that it is real and that it will show up. You visualize it, you focus on it, and you call it into existence with each other. You bless it into being. You say, I bless. I know it's real now. They've noticed this in non-medicine hospitals, and they try to condition it within religion teachings. But they found out the method is just follow your heart, have faith, whiz upon a star, follow it, and it will be. Has nothing to do with controlled systems. What's happening is the controlled systems are trying to keep the healing from happening so that they can gain more money and control and power. And then they say you can only be free until Christ comes and frees his sheep who are being enslaved by these systems. Do you want to know who's actually going to be freed? The people that they say are coming are the ones that rule their religious syndicate. They're allies of the reptilian races that they believe will come and save them, that have more technology and power. And then they want us to fear that we don't have the power to stand against their technology and their power. But the ancient texts say that there will be a time where the technology will fell the people, will fell the species. And then they'll realize they have to look with their hearts more and use the energy within more. That the technology won't be able to work. That it will shut down. And it's because of insurgence of good beings and people on all sides within this. So I'm going to tell you right now. Chapter 7 is on page 114. And this is the religious beliefs and how they fit with aliens and connections with our dreams through faith and belief to help us recognize our full physical, spiritual, and give us hope and answers for reasons for being. So I wrote this originally to give information I felt I was inspired by experience that I had in 2017 in September, which happened to be 2 years after I had the experience that woke me up to we're not alone, and that there's people with higher tech, or that we're being hidden with tech and being utilized with MK Ultra projects and controlled program systems. And that you don't know who the good people are and who the bad people are. And they'll try to make you feel pitied or feel like they're on your side, and then let people know, because they know people will notice it, and they'll try to sympathize with you rather than empathize and try to find solutions. They know that this is going to happen. They put this together, and they get guys to be on your side and monitor you. What's happened to me is they've got me isolated to the point where no one relates with me except for maybe a couple people out there. And they do this because they know that I am very well able to explain things with my heart. And they're afraid of that. They're afraid of people meditating and peaceful healing. Yes, they have people like Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra that brought all this stuff, but those guys are still high elitist individuals. They're connected to the elite status people. Now, if they are good beings and good people, then they'll find me and they'll call me and get a hold of me and talk to me, and we'll meditate together and create what they know I've stumbled upon. They'll see what I'm saying and they'll be like, wow, this individual knows what he's talking about. He knows that you listen with your heart and your feelings. You don't doubt each other. You don't judge one another. You put judgments aside, but it's more than that. You think good and you forgive judgments. You forgive lack of understanding. And then you heal. So let's go into that. And I've been noticing people are waking up to this information or bringing it up as if they know this. But if they really know this, then they would call me and work together and start meditating with others right now. They would do it for 3 minutes with people every chance they get. And they would do it 3 minutes a day with someone and have a 10-minute time to do it in. Or they would do it longer for those that feel they have the time, and if they have the time, they would do it longer. We need to do that more than now than ever because of these diseases and things happening. They're taking out a lot of population purposely, but this is just the first start. They're trying to decide what disease they can use and what issues they can blame it on. And they're doing multiple things. Whatever kills or whatever controls what they want to be controlled more in is what they're going to put through. And then what they'll do is then they'll be like, oh, well, now they need the medicines and the vaccines, so let's give them the medicines and vaccine to counter this epidemic. And then instead of doing natural, organic, vegan, individual foods that are healthy, that block you from these diseases or can more, and using the Celtic and Himalaya salt, they want to keep you from healing. They're trying to cause these sprays and these things they say is natural to cause you harm, to destroy you. But it's not just eating healthy, it's focusing on vibrational thought process and loving and caring and knowing that you'll be okay. If you die, then great, you don't have to deal with this crap world anymore. You go into the new realm. But what if they take you and reincarnate you because you've been connected to their agreements to reincarnate you in here because of the religions you're part of? Because they believe they control you after death. If you let them, if you feel you're still part of the system to be that, they'll influence you in that other form to do so. Well, I've done what I feel is needed, and I do know that there are other beings on the other end that healed me and helped me unconditionally in the way that I would accept the healing in. Now I accept all healing that can heal, that's unconditional, that's natural, organic, preferred, that's vegan and healthy is what I've been drawn to. Because I care about all species in life the best I can. Doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect at it or be not deceived in everything. I'm sure I've been deceived, but I've been less deceived than most of the rest of you that are doing GMO foods and have been tricked in your religious belief systems. So let's go into that. So, chapter 7. So on page 114, I'm going to read this. Those who choose to start here, I want you to know that I believe in spiritual growth and unity between all faiths and religions. I am very loved and blessed and have chosen in my life to think of others as much as myself. And I'm more about unity than ever before, but I'm about freeing each other from any religious controls that are harmful, that are abusive, that are secretly there. And sadly, that means you have to get out of the legal bondage that they put you by being part of that religion. That means you have to pull your records from that religion by law to be safe. Some people say, just don't go anymore and you'll be okay. Yeah, that might help with some, but legally, with the Tekken agreements, when you do it in a legal way, where you do it in the best way you feel is can, you do it every way you can. You leave, you legally, and as best as you're able, you tell them, pull my records. And you tell them you don't comply. Now, even if they don't get pulled or they don't work, you're still fine. You're okay. So, because you chose the choice and then become your own minister for protection. Regardless what you do or choose to stay, I have belief that you'll be okay eventually when the higher forms and things come back, like they're said in the ancient texts they will. So all the religions say that these beings are coming back, but people are waiting for them to come back in order to be fully freed and to do good. So they justify their evil, thinking it's okay to stay evil because no one's perfect. And then if you leave, then you're not going to be saved. That's not true. Anybody with a peaceful heart, anybody that does right and cares will be fine. Even their religious teachings even say that in there. That there will still be good people not part of the belief systems that they say is true. And the reason why is because they know that they don't need to be. What it is it's going to be, what society do you think you need to be part of? What soul group do you feel you connect with most? Do you want enslavement where someone tells you how to be and control? Or do you want freedom? The ones that want full freedom will have full freedom. The ones that want to still be enslaved will be enslaved. See, it's freedom to be yourself or not be. Some people can't handle the freedom because they love the abuse and they love the sexual abuse and they love the trickeries and they love the enjoyments of doing trickeries to people, and they're narcissistic. And they love narcissistic people. They enjoy them. They want that society. There are people that are empathic that are being led and controlled by narcissistic people who say they're empathic. Then there are people that think that they're empathic but with narcissistic tendencies. But then the narcissists try to get those who are fully empathic to be seen as if they're not. Now that's going to be in the next chapter, but I'm going to read this one here, but I'll probably bring it up in here too. I'm sure I do. I know that we all matter regardless of race, color, or even species. Or gender preferences is what I'm going to add now, or sexual desires. All life matters. All life has its purpose. I care for all the things I learned as well as still will keep learning always. I know in my heart that I have my own spiritual and physical limitations as well as growth. I don't see myself as completely perfect. At the same time, I believe I will and see as if it is that way now. Right now it's 11:24 p.m., just so people know. I give up and at times and then don't. I struggle and then pull myself together. Again, just like sometimes we all do ourselves, or know others that do. I don't expect perfection of me or of you or of others. I hope those that started here to please read some of my other chapters before this, regardless of what you may feel about it. There are many paragraphs that fit with this. Many of you could be wondering, if you're so religious, why bring up aliens? Why speak of things I have not seen to be true, or that has not been written in the scriptures or told by prophets? First, I want people to know I don't speak for the prophets. For I believe in the words they speak of peace and following commandments. I speak for those who have witnessed things, and not just a couple, but thousands and millions, both religious and not, who have seen and witnessed these things firsthand. I personally am mentioning to promote hope and faith and belief in a higher power that connects us all. And at that time, I believed in like an idea of a God, and still believed in the church sort of, but I'm more of a higher form of self, but it's more of an inner self. As long as you follow your heart and you do what you know is right, you'll be inspired and you'll be healed and you'll be able to manifest or get drawn to things that help you and get allies to help heal you, even when you feel like no one is there, even when your support systems fall or they try to isolate or keep you from getting the funds or needs that you require. That's why I say it's so important to call me and come together so that I and you can be safe by praying with one another, because even if you think it's not safe to get a hold of me, please get a hold of me as soon as possible, because you're not going to be safe. If I'm taken out, you're next. So we need to do this not just to protect me, but to protect you. I know that I was told to just let people know because I'm going to save many lives, lifetimes and people. And I'm going to help people because I'm following my heart. I'm doing what I know is right. It doesn't matter if I make up mistakes or have chosen to do certain choices of sexual desires or choices that I have chosen to do for myself. I don't expect you to do what I do. I don't expect you to agree with my ways of sexual orientation or desires of what I think is okay to do, what I feel or have been drawn or pushed into doing because of lack of needs and resources is got me to be focused on things but be aware of things. But I've stopped being guilty of the things I've chosen to do in my life. I've stopped thinking that I'm a sinner or that I'm going to fail because of my choices of those desires or agreements. Now, I do want someone in my life, and I do desire a girl in my life that I know is meant to be in my life. I was shown her spirit by the higher form in 2017. I was told things that would happen. I was shown arguments that would ensue and would occur with family. I noticed the way the family speaks and doesn't listen with their hearts, and they're not willing to just take things seriously because they're so busy and so focused on thinking that they just need to get through and enjoy life without fearing life. And that's great, but we also need to manifest and pray for one another and help one another and be drawn to things and bring it into people's lives as soon as possible. Anytime you think about anybody, I want you to pray. But that's up to you. I'm not telling you that you should. I'm telling you it's up to you, but it would be best if you did. But don't take my word for it. Don't do it because I'm letting you know we should. What I'm mentioning is we should focus to our hearts, do what's right, be charitable when we feel right about it, care about each other, don't feel so stingy or controlled. Doesn't mean that what you have isn't good or it shouldn't be allowed to be to have or to hold or to have in your life. You have what you have because you were blessed with it. You were given grace in it by someone, even by those societies that are criminal or organizations do good things, taught good people to do good things. It doesn't mean that everything they do is good. There's always going to be good within any society that is even controlled by criminal organizations because they feel they can. And they feel they do. They do what they want. But they do some good things to look good. And so they are empathic. They are doing some good, but they're not doing the full good that we can't. And because they don't want to lose the funds that they're getting from their businesses and their controls. And what it's all about is we can actually forgive them, we can heal, and we can come together. But the way to do that is to actually make the choice, do the step, call me, call others, and actually pray and manifest. Okay? So here we go. I personally am mentioning to promote hope and faith and belief in a higher power that connects us all. I will not dictate that my religion is better. I'm not part of any religion anymore to follow than someone else's. I let you choose for yourself. The religion I follow is my own. And it's not really a religion, it's just what we're all connected to. But as a minister, I can marry you and bless you in the belief that I believe I can bless you in, which is the inner self-belief. That's all it is. It's not a religion. I could make my own religion if I wanted to. I have the credentials to do so. But my religion is just the inner self that we all can heal, that even children can heal. You don't need credentials to heal. This is just so that the law recognizes me as a minister to marry people and to bless people in my way of belief, and to be protected to bless in my way, to have freedoms of my belief. You have to do that when you leave a religion, is what I would recommend, is what I got drawn to do, for your safety. Now, it doesn't mean that it's fully going to protect you, but it will protect you to a degree, because you can work around the systems that they're set in place. You have to walk among them by following the concepts that they use themselves and throw it right back at them. And what it is it's not to put them down, it's to build you up and protect you and others, and to do what true peace is. Basically doing what Christ and peacemakers who cared about healing everybody did. What they did is they did what they needed to do for the law, but then what they did is they made sure that they didn't hide healing and ideas, and they plainly told what needed to be told. And they made risks when they felt they needed to make those risks. But they had belief in their heart that they'd be okay, and they were protected. I was told to keep doing what I'm doing and to tell all that I can. While I was in that religion, it said that in my special blessing that was given, that they call a patriarchal blessing. And then the higher form told me to keep doing what I'm doing that I feel is needed, and I'll realize what's really going on, and that the religions and others are controlled into things that I'm noticing, and that I'm going to help people realize, and that even atheists and all people that believe are okay. And that being telling me that was basically giving me a hint that it's okay if I become someone that's not part of a religion, because the religion is within me. I don't need to be part of that church which allowed these things done to me. I was told I'd figure it out by the end of last year, and I did. And I knew it was right because my heart dissolved from control, and I felt happier and safer, even if things are trying to be unsafe now. I still feel safer and focused. My brain healed and I could function. I was healing from diseases and told what to do to stay safe because of epidemics that were going to be pushed through and that were happening. Because I was able to prepare myself towards what is happening, things like the coronavirus and other health issues won't affect me as much as it will others. If it tries to come in my life, I'll know exactly what I need to do to heal it. And if I die from things like that, or people try to make it seem like I died from it, it'll be because of the secret projects trying to get me and force me into putting syringes and shots in me and problems in me. But they can't do that legally. They shouldn't be doing that. And them going against their own rules and agreements shows how hypocritical they are and why they're not good beings. Now, they think they're going to be forgiven, and they will be, but they're going to be put aside, and those who had the power to do good and controlled to do good will lose that power over society. And those who are about peace will gain the power in society to heal and create. We'll get more awareness, but we're not going to want to be worshipped. We're not going to want to be blessed. We're already blessed. We don't need to be worshipped. We don't need to be seen as gods when we become the higher forms. But throughout history, that's how they saw us. That's how our ancient ancestors saw our higher forms when they came to them in those times. But what is interesting is those were past lives or future lives of us. We're just waking up, and now we're at the point of the Great Awakening. And they say that lasts for thousands of years, but the 1,000 years of peace will be the time of ascension of after the awakening. So many people have already awakened. When these beings come back, everybody will awaken. But it starts with me and others letting it be known it's coming. They are coming. There are beings coming. We're noticing it. We're feeling it. The spirits are telling us. Do you feel those chills? Do you feel those things right now? Your heart is tugging at you right now. It's telling you that what I'm telling you is true. You're okay if you focus on peace and love. If you don't, then you're just going to put yourself through pain, and you're going to cause your delay of pain. You're going to grow in pain and be connected to pain when you don't want that. But you think you're doing what you need to for the society control that has over you. But I'm telling you, if you care about me and others at all, if you care about peace and healing, please just pray. Unconditionally pray. Don't pray that we come to your religion. Pray that we are healed and provided the knowledge we've already been given. We're going to get more. Promote healing and full healing, not selective, controlled healing. Everybody can heal. You don't need the priesthood as a man to only heal. You can do it, and you can have that same type of power of priesthood even if you're a woman, even if you're a child. The priesthood is just a regime-controlled power that allow connection to certain entities to help you do those powers with their tech and maybe some of their spiritual ability with yours. But it's controlled healing. It's not full healing. We all can heal with natural oils and natural healing and manifest those things. And even if we fear, we can make up the fear by helping bless those people even in their fears and forgiving for our doubts and our problems. Now, I'm going to finish this other part of my scriptural teaching here that I've brought up. And I say that with a joke. I'm not really scripturally teaching. I'm going to bring up something that really matters. I will not dictate that my religion is better or my belief system is better than someone else's. I let you choose for yourself. I have belief there are many things that have still not been told for God's purpose, or even because no one was brave enough to bring them up like I am choosing to. And many people think that you're going to be targeted and killed for doing so, and because others have. You know what? Just do what's right. I've already been beat up when I was a little boy. I broke 13 bones my first year of life. I had a hole in the heart when I was born. I've been messed with by the chemicals and the problems since birth. Your chemicals that are in your foods, your GMO foods and other things in your air, is going to turn future humanity into what I dealt with and worse. Children are going to be born that way more. And then they say the way to cure it is to put nanoteching in you and turn you into droids, turn you into hybrids of AI and human. You don't need that. You don't need that. You are already a biological entity of power, of natural power. Where did AI come from? Where did computer systems come from? It came from the mind thought process. Someone thought of it. It created a time travel alteration of species throughout dimensions, and they brought it to this realm. and it's different alterations that are being corrected. But following your heart and knowing that you are powerful beings is amazing. It doesn't mean that tech is bad. It means that there are natural free energy tech that's better. And that is awesome, but what we can do also is we don't need it is necessarily to heal and to manifest things. We can provide things and utilize them through prayer and making them happen that way too, through your belief that they are. There are many things I research, but I do not do this to bring people astray. On the contrary, it's to have you choose for yourself what is there. At the same time, I still know the power of the universe, I'm going to say, of God and universe is all around us, whatever you want to define it as. I choose to have belief, what I believe, and what I still have belief in what I have belief in, and what I have belief will be told later on in another chapter, where I will bear my testimony of my true belief. I will say this, we won't learn all things till our God comes down, like he said that he would, and tell all things. For all of us that don't know and feel that what we are doing is correct and right, we may be wrong. My true reason for this book is I feel I must write the things that I think, feel, and notice as a journal for my thoughts. I don't expect you to understand all I witness or to be my Urim and Thummim. That's a term that the Mormon Church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or LDS Church Faith say was the way that Joseph Smith translated. Now they're confirming that he just looked into a hat. At the same time, I understand your love. When you fear for me, if you do, I'm all about the law of attraction, which Christ even taught for all people, and that we should do the same for others as he did for us. And as we do this for others, we do those things unto as if they are him. For we all are connected both scientifically by energy vibration, as well as as that being our spiritual connection to provide healing for us and others around us through belief in a power faith through grace. Grace is divine intervention, meaning the meaning the Creator comes and helps strongly for all that's needed to be calmed and helped in so that peace can be there. I know that some of the things that were supposed to be Creator, I either wrote Creature accidentally or the editor caused it to be Creature instead of Creator. Because of confusion of misspelling that I did. But I think it was probably me on there. I'm not going to blame it on them, even if it was anybody else. I allowed it to stay that way due to lack of funds to correct these corrections. That's why I'm correcting it in the video information. I love all of us. I know of things where there are many comments that will be mentioned before I go into those things. I just want you to know, whatever I say, I don't expect it all to be doctrine. I just have noticed that it has value to share value and be there for all. To learn my testimony in my church, I believe in, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, go ahead and read it. I don't have belief in that church anymore. At the same time, my book is meant to band together with all faiths for the good of creation, not to say I'm right or they're wrong, but to come together and learn from what others have gone through so we can help them rather than believing their experiences are lies. Yeah, I felt that way. Now I'm realizing that they want to condition what they say is true, even if you experience something strange. Those that are more wise and see these weird things get put as mentally ill people or pushed aside to be ignored from their hearts. I have realized to follow my heart and to do what's right, and to also be aware of how we can correct our lifehoods by manifesting and blessing them into being. By focusing and saying they already are as a group function, or just two people doing it unconditionally. So cool. It's just a great process. It is not my place to judge another, nor is it what we are taught by my religion or by Christ himself, who I love. In fact, he even helped those not of his belief or culture, and still does. We are all connected and allowed faith to work for us regardless of who we are or what we choose to do. If we believe in love as charity, then we are following his love that he taught. Now, I also have noticed many things, even when inactive in my life, researching, getting sacred and or getting scared, annoyed by things. I learned then, I realized fearing isn't cheering, and that being afraid is not being brave. Feeling others think you're insane is not a nice feeling. There are many things we all deal with and choose to believe even if others don't. I don't expect others to believe in me or to love me or care. I hope and get my hopes up in this that they will care, but that's their choice. My life is important. Your life is important. I have belief in you and trust in that Christ taught and what many other peacemakers have taught in all peaceful, creating, loving religions teach. The ancient texts and others have confirmed. Any religion that has belief in charity for all, not just with their people, but with all people and species and beings, what I go for. I trust, I have belief and care. I want us all to be there for each other. I learned many things, and before I tell you all the amazing teachings I learned, I will tell you things I researched and learned. Many things I will tell you could be and may not be. I don't expect it to be true, nor do I think truly that it's false either. I have chosen to have an open mind on this research, and I felt I needed to express and talk about this. I have chosen to recognize what I know many have noticed, and no one else will hear them on this, and are quiet and afraid to talk about this, or have been told to be silent. I think and feel it's my spiritual duty to reach out to all thoughts and feelings others have on this, so that I can do my best to clear up some things that many have focused on. Again, I want others to put themselves in other people's shoes, and not just do what you would do, but learn what they go through and feel in all areas of their life, like Christ would, or any peacemaker would. Basically, to heal and to manifest with them, to listen to their hearts, hear what their problems are, and then help create those problems as healed. Have them touch your robes, and then you're healed. Have you touch theirs, and be there in an appropriate way, not an inappropriate way, but appropriate way that they're okay with. And working and creating and using the tech that you have to help heal naturally. So it's using the tech and your healing within together as one, but not to enslave or to make people drones or hybrids of both machine and human. It uses the things as natural healing to heal natural healing, so then you can get to the inner self without needing any of those controlled mechanisms within you. So to start off, let me break this down. There are many records of all records of man and extraterrestrial info that has been altered to fit the times it was written in. Many chose and feared that people would not believe it or have belief if it was put in a different way, so they dumbed it down for all of us. Many were feared and threatened in the writing and printing of both the Bible and the Quran and the many different scriptures. Some felt that they were told spiritually not to talk about the connections to other planets and stars, for that is not our concern, yet for the purpose that they promised salvation for us, saying they are a God or are a being that created us and this world, and many of those could be true in some form or another. Some also may be false. So it's up to our faith and our connection of belief to follow what we feel must be followed, so that we can focus on living or belief and then becoming what we have belief is important for us to be. I'm not sure what it is or who is. What I realize is we all dictated to each other our feelings through our beliefs, and then made new value systems that broke off of what possibly was. I tell you that it's possible aliens created us, and if so, then it's possible God still did. Also, even if they did, not that they're God, but they are also created to the creation of the universe, and possibly have their own purpose. Now, until more info is known, or until our religion is completely proven wrong from the Creator Himself telling this to us, we can't fully recognize other than our spiritual connection that we have belief in to tell us. I have my own understandings of answers, and I still struggle at times on this connection of belief. But I choose to follow with faith and hopes and belief that I will be able to have and help others have what is promised by doing so. Now, it is possible that other beings are telling us things to only what we can handle right now. See, God only will show us and tell us things of what we can handle, not what we can't. That's what we've been taught in our religions. I have watched many documentary and even had visions and even been witness of both extraterrestrial projects as well as secret projects that our government still is researching and monitoring for their own info, and some for our safety. We all choose what we choose, and I and my house choose to follow God in the teachings of what I know to be, to me, the closest and truest info I have noticed so far. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is what I followed. I do not follow that anymore. I do not speak of aliens as part of that belief. The Church is focused on what prophets and apostles and scriptures such as the Bible, the New and Old Testament, and the restored info that Joseph Smith prophet that restored the gospel to its fullest, to what is important for our salvation forever. I love the church because it talks about becoming like God, and to do so by following its commandments and honoring its leaders. So that's what I believe. I don't agree with that. What happened was I found out that I was being misled and controlled by this teaching. Many people get misled. It's part of the system of the Zionists. They do that in all connections. When I saw the connections, I was warned by the higher form even. But they said, don't worry, it's fine if you believe what you believe. Follow what you feel is right. Do what you feel is told. I was told what to do. I was told, go, you're going to learn something. And then I learned something and got drawn to what really is right. It was really cool. So that's what I believe. So the info about aliens is separate from the belief of the church. I choose to believe in it and follow. I trust in it no matter how imperfect each member may be at times, even leaders in the church, since we all are learning and searching in its teachings. To learn more about this church, go to www.lds.org. Go to quitmormon.com instead. Okay? Go to www.quitmormon.com and you'll see other information. And so I believe in the scriptures, talked in all scriptures. It connects with these things. I still do my own research to know all things, for I have been asked to do what that in my own personal spiritual blessing I have that is sacred, and like an individual scripture for my life and beyond. I have been gifted with a mind that was developed differently. I am of a 2% to 5% of people who can't visualize in their mind's eye when they close their eyes. More than 98% or 95% have this issue that has recently been noticed. Many of us have this. Some do not. Those who don't, I realize, are possibly the ones that have the ability to notice and see things others don't. We see what is and can't be controlled as much by spiritually being controlled as much by any beings that try. Yeah, so our spiritualness can't be controlled to a degree. Mind control, they use gas and other things. They get around that. But if you find ways to get awareness of their controls, you can fight it. Manifesting and praying together, not in a religious way, but in a heartfelt way of your feelings, your thoughts, and emotions as one, help create the healing control to stop. Free you from any secret entities or tech control. I realize this was a blessing. I feel, though, that it also limits my ability to fully follow the law of attraction. At the same time, I may have trouble visualizing and seeing colors in my mind when I close my eyes and just see random pictures and things at the same time. I choose to not be afraid, but be brave and to cheer instead of fear. I actually don't worry about what I see in my mind anymore. I just imagine and pretend, and the more I pretend and see it, the more things show up to let me have what I know is meant to be. But if people come together with me and we pray and meditate more, we can heal that together, and we can manifest together to make up for what the others are lacking in manifesting. That's why it's good to do group togetherness, but they're trying to control or keep it from being completely able to be manifested. When you get people in the groups, you get people that are saying they're genuinely part of that group to help manifest these things, but then they condition the way it can manifest. And then they don't take the time to do it as long as it takes for the individual's needs to manifest it. And they want to charge you. We don't need to do that. Even if we feel like we're not professionals at it, we are. You are those professionals. Those professionals are you. I am the professional with you. Even if we come across as not, following our authentic self and believing we can, trusting our hearts, and meditating together. So basically, just call me on the phone, talk, and say, okay. And then we just say, let's believe, let's have belief. I already have my $1 billion. I have the needs. I have my financial requirements. There is no fear to it. There is no worry about it. And it helps me so we can insert ourselves into society and correct the society the way it is. And free ourselves with the funds to get the healings that are being held from us. So that we have the funds to cover and the power of manifesting healing with it. So we're doing both. And then we're manifesting to bring the higher forms in when we're ready to. But as we're manifesting these things, those higher forms are being with us as we manifest them. So the forms are coming. They're already there. We don't need to call them to be. They're with us to manifest these, so they will show up when they're ready to show up. And we can say, hey, also show up. Provide this and also show up. But provide this so that when you're ready to show up, it will be at the time that we're able to also have the time to do those things more. And by healing us and providing us these healing and using these techniques and processes, we're good. So that's how that works. It's really, really impressive. So my mind's eye is the middle of your head in your brain. Most people can close their eyes. So it's in the middle of your brain connection. Eyes and see colors of house and shape things in their mind and make its goal seem like it's achieved if they choose or are taught how. Basically, this idea comes from the Law of Attraction books as well as the movie The Secret. Go research these things. They're awesome. I own a copy that I bought from a charitable place that gives the money they earn to help others. I also get emails from the site on it. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. I'm thinking of something very powerful that I felt just now. I'm not going to share it, but it's following your heart heals your mind and your soul and your pineal gland and everything. But I had a really powerful thought of it, that it's really important to follow your heart. This is not a religion. Some think it is, but it's of science, of quantum physics, with spiritual, scriptural, and peacemakers and amazing leaders who know this law of the universe in some of its forms, if not all its connections. As you focus on something, good or bad, it comes and manifests for you. As you think, so it is. So is it. All of these ideas are many, and yet we all have belief in bits and parts of this type of teaching. Yeah, all the different religions and ancient texts confirm this awareness and teaching. Okay. I have belief we must learn all we can, all things that speak of creation, and that our hearts tell us. It's following your heart and be drawn, and intuition from your heart, mind, and spirit, and emotions as one. Listening to all of it, your full body awarenesses. I have an open mind to other faiths, to learn from them, to help them to investigate their abduction issues, to learn from their struggles, to teach them what is important. That's why I became my own minister, and I went to ulc.org to become my own minister of my own belief. I don't worry about secret government or alien takeover or world war destruction. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen or won't happen. I focus on belief and faith in my Creator and our Creator, and choose to be there in the belief, understanding, and respecting cultures as best as I can. And I ask all to be patient with me on this. So yeah, so what I became is I became a better individual than I was even when I wrote this. Now I learned that reincarnation and possible clones from our DNA and others is possible. That many people could be doing this to help restart things their way to keep us going, or other species to become part of us to survive or to enslave. So I have belief in love for all species. That doesn't mean that we should all shake their hands, or them, as we all have disease that can possibly harm each other. But if there's a way to heal ourselves, that is what I look forward to. In the fact of mind healing, it is said and practiced by many that it is possible to heal any disease through mind, thought, belief, and healthy eating. I have belief in doing that, of doing what we can to do what is right for all of us and all beings throughout all time dimensions, both spiritual and non, and just trust in our love that we have for us and others, and to share that which each other always, regardless of what was and what should be and what is now. I choose to trust that as long as we do what we can to keep creating and believing in each other's dreams, that is how we can fully be the full potential of what and who we are. So I looked into what I already do for us and all. I felt that following this knowledge and learning through my own amazing weird experiences that I could be able to be there for others, that others have not been able to be helped because of not being heard or believed in or being threatened or quieted. I will tell you this. I know what is going on more than I really want to at times. At the same time, I am glad to know it. It gave me perspective of what can be done and what else to focus on and be for all of us. I trust in Christ, I trust in God, and through Spirit of the Holy Ghost in all ways, it serves us for good. I have a different way of recognition of that. It's different than what I say back then. I trust in the wisdom and even learn wisdom, for I know He has made us with our own personal abilities and gifts, and I use these gifts to help. As we think, so are we. And I add on to this, well, then if we think of others in hope and have belief in them, in what they want for good, for their happiness, so are they all they need. Too is ask, have faith, have belief in that faith, and then see them receiving now, nor not later, not tomorrow, but now. And as they do that each day, the sooner it will be because of our faith and theirs together. That's what I know, and that's what I trust and love. It's more unconditional than that and more quicker than that. And it always is more quicker than that and more of we're going to be told the exact realness of what's really going on. All the gods and energies of becoming what we are, they're coming together and they're going to correct the knowledge in the way that we individually all can understand. If we have belief all things are possible, then we recognize that we also could be wrong. So I admit the things I witness may not be understood by many. At the same time, I use what I know to spread good cheer, not fear. So yeah, I'm instead of saying believe and believing, I'm saying belief a lot of times. There's times that I've chosen to stick with saying believe because of the energy that it was talking about, to get you to recognize that what I was saying had a lot of knowledge there, that it was showing that what I was saying was an evil focus at the time. It doesn't mean I meant to be evil. I thought I was doing what was right, but I was mentioning that we were following things. And I'm keeping it that form of message that I put because I realized that it was a good message to see it differently now. So here we go. I admit the things I witnessed may not be understood by many. At the same time, I use what I know to spread good cheer, not fear. I use this info to provide praise and to have belief we can be better, and that as we think and ask for our desires, they shall come true. Many fear and are warned not to call upon their desires, especially if that desire is a sin. Here's the problem that's happening. We have disease and things spreading throughout the world, and we have control that's getting more stronger, and those religions are gaining more power and more control and more funds. And if they believe that they are about healing, we need to come together and heal more. They're stopping people from going into temples to heal and do the healing during these epidemic times. So it shows you that they don't really have belief in their temple healings. I am someone that is glad that God doesn't grant all my desires I've asked. Plus, the temples and the meeting houses are sucking the energies and being given those to those ships and aliens. And so anybody that goes in there sick, they're sucking the sickness into them. That's why they're telling you not to go to churches and places. It's not just for the sickness to be spread. They're trying to keep people away from those housing units or those chapels to where their energy grows and is then projected up into the ships and the control systems that those buildings and chapels, natural tech and natural connections to the earth's energies are connected with. They don't want to get sick from sickness they cause to you and others. They don't want it to spread, they say, but what it really is they don't want it to spread to the wrong people or beings that are trying to take and siphon that power and energy from you. That's something I've realized, and it doesn't mean that that's happening necessarily, but it's I'm starting to see it more that's a possibility. So I'm not messing with that. Most of my desires aren't always benefiting to me. However, the main desires that are connected to what is good for my soul have always been granted. I know that there are many other things I like, so I just ask, have belief that he hears, or that the beings hear, and see as if it's real now. And if there is a delay, there is an interest given for those that are given at the same time. If it is given instantly, it still is what I wanted, and more so regardless. It's awesome. Now, all of us think we shouldn't bug God or ask and be asking. We are taking away something from someone else that may need that or what we feel is needed for us. So pray and ask God for the same. He will help and make it so. All he asks is that we have faith that he will not, that it won't. Let me give you these many scriptural teachings that I will paraphrase. I ask you to go spiritually find them. Look for them yourself. They are everywhere, not just in scriptures or told by religious or extraterrestrial info. What I will tell you is when Christ taught things he said, or that being said, or that individual said, things like ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will open unto you. Even if you waver, even if your faith is small, do your best to have belief and feel good, and he will provide, or the beings will provide, as you share this and be charitable, so that you let go all things that are holding you back, and negative and feelings of hurtfulness or doubt, jealousy, or any evil thoughts or feelings. Let all those feelings go so that good feelings can be there. Give away things back to those who give it first. If it was a gift, or if they won't give it to someone you know may want it, if not, give things to a charitable place and thrift store that provide goodwill towards the world to help others. I know for me that as I did these things, miracles happened. So I recommend this. Christ also brought up many things that all had similar concepts of charity, and to do as others do unto us that is good. Be charitable, be forgiving, and be open-minded to others' hearts and feelings. At the same time, have belief and have faith for others. When we do unto others as we'd like them to do unto us, we end up doing things unto the Savior at the same time. If that's not an incentive, recognize When someone does something good for you, or someone you love or value, how do you feel? So when someone appreciates you and values you and provides for you, how does it make you feel? When they listen to your stories and trust that your story is the truth and that what you witness, and they take it seriously and respectfully and love you and be there for you and make up for what has happened to you. If it's really needed, you feel awesome and blessed. So be grateful for those things. That's what I know is important. People like Gandhi and Buddha and Hindu and many beliefs are about dancing, praising something for their life and for others they love, for culture and connections. As long as they are not to promote evil works and to hope for evil to show up or to do wrong and cause harm to others, but to be there for love and creation for all that do good, that is what I choose to have belief in, for others as well as for those things that help create that joy, for them to feel like sharing that joy with others. I may have belief in having a dream car, a dream house, and financial currency money. At the same time, I have given things away and received great things from others. I have learned of others' needs, and when I don't know of your needs, I have belief you know what those are. And I believe that your dream life is real to me. There we go. And in the way you need it for you to experience joy, so that you can then appreciate things in your life more each day, always and forever throughout all eternity. I know that this can happen, one concept, regardless if you believe in that Christ says, or Jesus, or whoever you believe Christ is. Well, the Jesus of the New Testament always told his apostles that he taught and had with him when he asked them to were always asking him to help with things and waking him up, and every time he said, wait, you could just ask the storm to stop, guys, and it will. Peter, you could have walked all the way to me, but then what is cool in the walking on water experience is they walked back together. These teachings I just spoke of are considered faith followed by Christ, but he always said all you have to do is ask. You have the power already within you. You're connected with God when you call upon him. No man or woman is ever declined by his power to help. He helps all people of all beliefs and faith that choose to be faith and have belief that they're worth it and that it's okay to have belief. He mentioned to focus on your needs and belief. Trust in your heart and faith on this. See, as if what you want is real and possible. That you don't need to know how it will happen, that it already exists. Basically. Pray, belief, trust in you and in your God, or in the connection to the energy. You don't have to have belief that there is a God. And it's okay, because that God, if there is any God, that God or energy being understands your hesitance of not belief or choosing not to based off the abuse of the systems that have been put together all over the place to control and to make you doubt and hate and to be confused. It's about unconditional love for all races and people. That is creation of all beings. Pray, belief, trust in you and in your God or your connection. Belief in good things and for all people to be loved and be charitable, and in all beings, I say, not just people. All these things we're taught and more. As we love those we have and believe we are worth it and that it's possible for us, as long as we put God above everything, He will always provide things, and knowing He will, that works for both those who have belief God is energy or anything at the same time. I personally have seen it's even powerful and fulfilling for all when we choose to let us choose and have belief. So trust in God. He heals regardless of if He's right by us or at a distance. It's our belief in the power of that virtue that provides this gift of whatever it is we ask for, both needs and wants. Yeah, so your needs and wants are okay. I need to relax here for a minute. Okay, here we go. Man. Here we go. The thing is, if all lives, okay, so those who get answers through their faith of their belief for good will end up fully getting all of us and future human and extraterrestrial races to know and help all beings in life and appreciate help rather than destroy each other. I now have realized that I have now become more of a peacemaker than I ever have before. Oh, here we go. So I moved the page. I'm on 120. So as I think, having an open mind, it's not for me, it's for what I have seen in others. Okay, we can choose to no need to tell others to do so. If you have different feelings on it, at the same time, I am all about growth for the individual and that everyone needs to learn things differently. Oh, here we go. Needs and wants. So on page 123, somehow I moved the page, but we're going to start here. So for those that are part of the church I have belief in, I want you to know that even the Book of Mormon talks about this also in Jacob chapter 2 and many other scriptures. Yes, they do, about the law of attraction idea. As at the same time, I don't believe that anymore, or I don't believe that church anymore. But the teachings are within all the scriptures. They're just trying to adapt in their own way of teaching community, and they've been teaching it to people in many different forms or ways, but it's a very controlled system. At the same time, we all interpret things differently by our own perception of what is being taught. So I ask you then, do what matters, follow the teaching of the prophets. If you have belief in your religion fully without changing or searching anything other than that value system you cling to, then do so. If it makes you and others around you happy and healed and redeemed, then fill it fully. We must always find our past. Some people's past are shown things others aren't shown, or chose to have belief, or could never understand like others are taught. We can only do those things which we can handle, that God knows what we can handle. So follow what you can handle and pray in the way you have chosen to. no need to tell others to do so. If you have different feelings on it, at the same time, I am all about growth for the individual and that everyone needs to learn things differently. So as I think of having an open mind, it's not for me, it's for what I have seen and others so that I can make sense of what others have recognized. But I choose not to get lost in things. I choose to trust in what I know is good and doesn't abuse others and doesn't enslave others, but frees us all. I choose to have life and trust in the idea of eternal marriage. At the same time, many have different feelings, such as reincarnation. I'm not really necessarily about eternal marriage. I think that you're always connected to each other, and that you'll be with that which you wish to be with unconditionally without necessarily needing to rely or create things with each other. You'll come a bond, and you'll come to accept and be free of people more and not expect things of others as much. So feelings such as reincarnation, as well as possible ideas of heaven that are different than what I feel and see as truth, reincarnation could be at the same time. I've seen connections of my own on that. At the same time, I like their belief in meditation and prayer and claiming or calming one's thoughts and mind so that we know how and what is important to do all around us and for others' lives. I love all, and I love you and care for you deeply, not because of the Christ teachings or because of others' teachings, but because of the many things I have learned and gone through that got me to know what is important in life and creation of all species, that promote life and freedom, that I choose to believe for all of us on, and for everyone you feel is needed or wanted that helps you and your family to be happy or just to keep you going in life. That's what I have belief in. Now, I will go over the topic of reincarnation and life after experiences. There are many that have witnessed many experiences of memory recall from life or death experience, remembering past lives with amazing detail. The things I know with native tribes and all cultures will do anything, pray at temples, do all they can to find those they love that get lost, or to those that lose someone or get kidnapped. Many have done all, and some even find fortune tellers and those who are psychics to tell them things even the Bible teaches. Now, I can't say that I never have done any of this type of searching, because I have. I know they can work. At the same time, why do they? Well, the energy of connection allows all things to happen many ways. At the same time, we all get the wonders in this right or wrong. So I made sure for myself to search. I choose to stay with what I know always worked, and that is my belief. At the same time, I realized we all get drawn certain paths, and it's because we are meant to learn to get known one another. We learn our connections while being drawn to get answers to our prayers. As we do, we learn things even more to lead us to an answer to not just ours, but others' needs. So I realized Since that is going on, why not have belief and think in others as well as myself so that things work better rather than worse? Here we go. So on page 125 at the top. So those who get answers through their faith of their belief for good will end up fully getting all of us and future humans and extraterrestrial races to know and help all beings and life and appreciate and help rather than destroy each other. I now have realized that I have now become more of a peacemaker than I ever have been, because as I have thought recently of others and prayed, my mind has opened to understand belief of others. Regardless of how strange or crazy the ideas, I learned I only stay true to one connection, that regardless what is or isn't, I choose to have belief in each other's love one another and to think as if all our lives are healed to all areas we want and need that healing and help in our lives, as well as if we are born through reincarnation. Well, then, if that is, then why not teach your children just in case their children end up being our fathers somehow? I have belief differently at the same time. It just means that we should recognize to teach the idea of what this connection of science of thought is so important. So those who have had life or death experiences and come back from death or almost death all see different things based on their mind's belief. Some did, in fact, see aliens talking to them. Some saw Christ and sat on his lap, and gods. Either way, we see what we see. Those who can't visualize in their mind when they close their mind are called aphantasia. I think it's possible a lot of us see more what is instead of what isn't. At the same time, those who can see normally can connect to that more. Now, those who can't visualize, I have noticed that we also have our own gift, such as vision to see the world more clearly. To the same time, we can still have belief and have miracles work more just like those who can visualize. So that explains why some of us think and explain and express differently when we have some brain damage issues. Now, I also know that life is important and that we all matter. Helping others is important. It's not just what Jesus wants or our religious deity or leaders want. It's a choice to do it, not to gain privileges or to be respectful for being helped or obligated. It's about truly knowing in your heart it's right. So when people come back, some felt terrible. They had to, some had spiritual experiences, but us that haven't lived or understand these experiences have a hard time unless we have our own. So I tell you, try this idea out for a year. Check out the law of attraction or even the concept sections of ideas that help you recognize this powerful way to use your mind to create a good reality for your life and those around you and everywhere. Through thought, belief is that thought, asking for it, then have belief, then having faith in that belief and belief in that faith. Then think of others at the same time and being charitable and being inspired and also seeing you receiving all you would like and would want. I would say do it for longer than a year. Do it your whole life. now. Follow your heart. Don't do it just because of a religion tells you to. Follow your heart. Do what's right. Want, like, and would want. Okay, so a few more pages to go. We all matter, and I want you to know that you matter to me. I also want your dreams as well as mine to come true. But I am okay of you having more than what I have. I'm all about a couple of things and more for others. At the same time, I still want my desires, so I will ask and trust in yours to be true, as if you also have belief in mine, and I will still belief in mine always. As I become, it provides me to provide more to others. My ultimate goal is to marry in a temple of the belief I believe in, which, as I have said, is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I believe in that, and I don't think I need to marry in those temples. We can marry in our own way, and it will still be eternal if that's what we equally want. But we're going to be what we need to be for each other, and then if we decide to move on from each other, we will. But we're not going to keep each other bondage or controlled. So if there's a girl out there or a friend or someone that thinks that I would be a good romantic partner for them, I want you to think about this. I'm going to let you be whatever you want to be. Follow your heart, but please let's manifest and focus on manifested desires for each other. Even if it's silly, even if you don't think it's possible, let's do that. Let's meditate in the way I feel comfortable meditating in for me, and do the same for you. And then we'll do what we can to meditate for you in the way you want to, but not controlling me in a religion or you in a religion. That's not healthy because of agreements that religions made with government controls. And it doesn't mean that the governments are all bad. It just, there's factions within the government that are good. But when we free ourselves from trying to rule over each other, and we rule ourselves and free ourselves, that is what helps. But what we can do to help with that is, instead of doing political strategies, is we can do spiritual strategies, or mind, thought, focus, feelings. And following your heart is powerful, okay? Powerful. At the same time, I choose my own hobbies and feelings, so know about things that my church doesn't need to endorse. I don't expect my church to have belief in aliens or comment on such ideas. At the same time, I don't choose to force them or you or anyone on that. All I ask is, through your choice, to be aware of each other's personal needs and terrible desires, to promote things of good report. There's no need to do anything else I have mentioned about in my book. Just that you have belief and recognize for a year daily belief in each other for good. Again, it's your choice. And brain thought, science, research, and radio talks. Also, later on, I will discuss my desires and dreams and dream boards, and show you what I wish and have prayed and thought of. So I tell you this so that you know my heart and soul belief. I am all about doing what is right. I have belief in creation and not destructions. However, I know through destruction we become truly reborn. At the same time, I focus on attitudes and thoughts and belief in creating others' happiness, joy, and reality of life. So check that out. in both mind thought chapter. We're getting close. Before this chapter, also the concept and law of attraction chapter. For those that want the simplest way that I can tell you, check the to the point chapter close to the end of the book. Okay. Right now it's 12:40 p.m. Or 12:30. Excuse me, not p.m. 12:40 a.m. That I'm doing. I'm doing this because I've changed my way of sleep because I was attacked, and so or threatened, and so I've learned to follow the power of protection by staying awake and vigilant and aware, and not fearing and following my heart. Plus, I've upped the ante on protection of anywhere I'm at. I've been putting barriers around me wherever I go, or in certain places I've chosen to be on, to protect me even more so than what I was doing before. Understand, I will do my best to shorten everything done the best way I can. I also know light bothers these creatures and these beings. They can't handle light. So anyway, believe that it will give you answers you think, but know that to know the full understanding that my whole book is best to read to understand everything I talk about. Now, at the same time, if there is info missing, then that info would be best to research for yourself and find. I will do my best to tell all I think it's important to know, and to help others struggling of such things. At the same time, I have learned to trust in my God, as well as to keep researching and learning, even after I receive my true ultimate goal for eternal marriage, as well as family, and to share the same with others to know of its true happiness. For I know it is important to strive for one's goals and to keep making new ultimate goals for life and all eternity, even after life and beyond forever. Yeah, so what happened to me is they were trying to kill me off in that religion, or they didn't have any way to help heal me. And no one's trying to help heal me in that religion or try to be peaceful. And they tell you got to do it yourself. So they push you away from that religion. They don't want you to have full healing. They want you to think that God is the only one that decides the healing, that you're not the one that decides how to heal or can be inspired to, and that you got to listen to the church and follow its teachings, and that's what will heal you. No, it's your heart that does. It gives you insight, tells you what to do, and that's what connects to Christ and all the higher ascended masters and spirits and guardian spirits and protective energy and the earth itself, which is wakened and cares. So I keep on thinking and learning. So those who have seen things like I have can recognize there is so much weird stuff in this world. As I tell you what I've seen in other chapters, I know that it's possible these things we call aliens are many different races. Not all know each other or even trust or are aligned or not. I am not worried. Instead, I choose to find a plan to do it and have belief in those that understand and choose to follow the idea of good. I know that even the worst of the worst can repent and become better. Again, it's about belief and hope and prayer. Yeah, repent. You're okay. Okay, everybody. If you feel you need to do something, just do it. You're forgiven. I forgive you. The higher form forgives you. You're fine. Okay? Follow your heart. Listen to yourself. Don't take my word for it. Feel it tugging in your heart. Do what you feel is inspired, and do what truth requires, and heal and be there. I'm using the same words that they taught me in my belief system back at you to show, why don't you just do what you are telling each other to do? I use the good teachings that they've taught and use them to do for good, full healing, rather than the fake healing they were using them for. Because I learned from that. That doesn't mean you have to be around and all abuse to keep going. It just means we all have time to learn from one another. As we learn and pray and think good of one another, regardless what we are doing now or have done and have believed, we now have all we wish for good to have for our life, as well as everyone's thinking this way. It calms our souls. So what they're doing is they're using a lot of tactical choices, saying that there is no more hope. We're already lost. And that 2020 now, our Earth has been taken over and people are telling us to give up. That's when you don't give up, okay? That's when you stand up with your heart and you start thinking positive more. That is their insurgents teaching you to do otherwise. Doesn't mean that those people telling you are bad people. They're just being manipulated or thought of. They're getting people to think, and they've given up. They're making you follow the pattern of change to give up and not have a heart and not do what's right. Be a healer. Do what's right. So we get healed and end up being able to provide healing for others that maybe others don't know or think about as much as you may be drawn to. Either way, everyone is connected, some more than others. Regardless how or what or why, I choose to just have belief, think, feel, and see the future is now, as if the past has already has healed the present to make the future happen sooner. It's all about doing what is right and knowing what is right matters. What is right for one person may not be what another needs, and so pray for their needs. Not your belief in their needs. Think that whatever they feel and think helps them will, and that as they do, they will learn what matters the most for them and those around them. Just trust in each other. I recommend the law of attraction, and then find things that help heal things with brain, so that you can do what is needed more. So read the emotional chapter to understand more. Yeah, so that's chapter 10. But yeah, follow your heart. Feel it in your heart. Know that it's okay and that you are that which you desire to be. So when we open our minds as possibilities of beliefs of a reincarnation as possible, and that what others have seen maybe instead of not belief in others, we open our minds to their ideas and thoughts. At the same time, we hold to what we wish to have believed. Those who can have an open mind and not be drawn another place, just know life matters to that person. Also know they could be following what their culture has taught. Now, when we are willing to respect another's belief, they end up wanting to learn more about us and our beliefs. That's how they trick you into following belief systems of religions and control. I didn't know that that's what was happening to me and what I was preaching and teaching in this, even though the religion doesn't even agree or say aliens are, or don't let us focus on that, or think that maybe I was mentally ill, and so my mentally ill focus was wrong, but my heart was somewhat in the right place. I didn't like a lot of the teaching. It's about learning from each other and recognizing the experiences and possibility of experiences, and then instead of judging ideas of belief, we end up seeing connections of becoming all that we want. Nirvana or heaven, true enlightenment, it's all similar, yet different in nature, yet all the same goal, to become all we can for each other and completely for ourselves and beyond, for the reason of the creative source that truly made us. So trust in others' happiness in any way they they like, as long as it promotes growth and it is about freeing people from enslavement or abuse, or from death, and praise life and all around you and each other, and love one another, hug one another, and have belief in each other's desires of needs and wants, because when someone is fully happy, they end up being drawn by inspiration to find the full happiness for us all. So, what is it that will make you happy? Is it your religion? Then follow it. What is your belief? Follow what you feel is your belief. I have done research that it's possible aliens are in all religions, within governments, some good, some bad at the same time. If we have belief in love, appreciation, and connect with true creation energy through ideas like the law of attraction, energy, mind, thought, quantum physics, belief, regardless if there are clones or reptilians, all of us are still beings. We may not agree. We may all want to control our way. It's not about control. Um, it's about truly promoting and belief in that no matter what happens to me, to you, or others, the love value is a constant energy, and it's not just love, it's charity, which is true love, and it's healing, it's manifesting with each other unconditionally and freely. We matter, we all matter. I love you, I have belief in you, and I recognize all faith or people that recognize thought of energy that creates a reality of how that works. Then let's have belief in each other. Let's trust and pray. That works. Then let's have belief in each other. Let's trust and pray and think properly for each other as all creations and caring beings that just want the life they feel they deserve and strive for. As we all do, this will think as if it's true. Now, no need to think as if it's true. Just have belief, think, pray, ask, then have belief. Feel it, see it, know it. This idea will then see it happening and see the end result, and instantly will happen. Think as if the part was put together, and that sometime, however long is needed, was set up so that at this moment, now, as you read this or hear it or are told about this, that your dream is now existent. I have belief in you as you believe in yourself. It happens right then. And if there be a delay, you will get interest from the delay by God or universe connection. So just try this with everything for a year. Learn more in the chapters ahead. Now, as I tell you these things, I want you to know we all have gifts for those who have belief in such things, even those who don't. We don't yet want to learn and be aware of what could be read. The next chapter, this chapter is a critical part of what I have learned about energy and thought, as well as connection with religion. that then will go into the real reason and feeling of what we can do with all of this, so that we can have a brave new world for all of us and all that are part of this universe, so that all loose ends are no longer loose ends. All secrets are now understood better, and all people's lives can truly be fulfilled truly. I notice connections as well as numbers, and anything with numbers is different connections and powers of belief. I've always been drawn by numbers. So, all things, both science, mathematics, as well as spiritual thought, all connect. I use my gifts of empathies to notice and feel the connection. I pray and notice the connections through my vision of sight in this world of vision, since at times my inner eye is blind but not fully. I've healed it at times and now see myself fully healed and protected fully by all beings on both sides. I choose to be aware of all beliefs, ideas. I stand by the creation and belief. Even those on the other side can always help when they decide. It's all about recognizing growth to do right by all beings. As you think this way, you yourself will be so blessed and loved, because of choosing to love more than choosing to judge or hate or enslave or to cause harm. So I'm all about forgiveness as best as I can, and do the right thing means to me to allow those to be free and not enslaved, or abused or used, and instead providing healing and growth the way they want and need. It's all about allowing people to be able to enjoy life without making others miserable in doing so. And if that happens, to repent and provide that healing for them the way they desired in the first place, as well as more. So these gifts I speak of are amazing. Each one of us can learn, teach to achieve whatever spiritual, mental, and physical abilities naturally, and with little practice by belief in one another. Now, also, some abilities are natural and autopilot. We either were born or injected or provided into being developed these abilities, so I recommend to be aware of your spiritual gifts. Some are permanent, some are for this life, and many are just part of our naturally as part of our creation energy that is us. All of us have strength. Some feel we have weaknesses. At the same time, those weaknesses aren't weaknesses. Instead, they provide us other areas of abilities. So helping each other is important, and many of us can use what we have to help others and our future life as well as others to happen now. And that's what I've chosen to share and do. Empath, psychic, remote viewing, all of those are abilities, and many more. So the next chapter is very much so worth reading. Okay, so know this: I believe in you, think of you, and even help use my abilities to benefit your life for the better. So that was the end of page 130. So again, we're halfway done. Now we're getting into the real stuff after chapter 9. With chapter 9 will be a huge amount of information. But chapter 10 and on is my favorite information. 11 will be the one that I really like and want to talk about. 12 is to the point chapter, but it may be altered a little bit. It may not be exactly the way the chapters are, but we'll try to keep them to the point. But my focus will be changed from what I say in each to the point message. There are HCTs among us, humanoid extraterrestrials, that rule this world or help rule this world. We've allowed too much control over us. And Christ told us we shouldn't do that. We don't need that. We need to free ourselves. But it's okay, because he's being said that they would come when we've done this to ourselves. Because they knew it would happen. They were us and we were them, and now they're coming back as the full form us to correct what we were going to do and cause. So they knew they needed to travel to the future and past. They traveled to the past, and now they're coming back to the future. And they're going to the different realms and realities they feel they need to be part of. And we just need to be open to them coming in. So they're coming in now, and they've already started. And now, after I've finished my book, I know that this year will be the time of that great awakening of them coming back and helping us choose. But I was told to do this by a higher form self. But I wasn't told that I had to do it. I was just saying, it's going to help people. So do it and follow your heart. And no matter what you say or don't, it'll be okay. You're going to be fine because of your heart. Come like a little child, full belief. We're going to end up gaining abilities and being provided how to use those. I was told I would gain everything I wanted and desired. Exactly in the way that I wanted, for following what I know is needed. And that I didn't have to be part of a religion or not. I felt that I needed to follow the religion, and at the time it was saying, yeah, do what you feel you need to do. But you'll get the realization by the end of 2019, and you're going to do something similar to what Samuel are said to have done. And scriptures and recognition. You're going to cause an alien army to take flight. So there's an alien army that's ruling us, an enemy, and I'm going to cause them to leave, to take off for this planet. I'm going to be one of the many people that do it. Many beings on this planet that scare them off because of my heart. And it's going to happen. I was told that even if I die, it will be fine, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be provided all that I want. But if my means are messed with and not provided for, and I die because of that, it's going to mess with their life and screw up their being. More so than what is happening to them now, for doing that path of what they think they should do to themselves. They're going to be corrected in their being, and their secret societies are going to be really affected, because all I'm focusing on is peace and healing and creating. I want freedom, but I've been given enough time by them and others to do what's needed. So I appreciate what's been provided in disability and other stuff, so that I can do this message that needed to be said. So anyway, I'm going to rest for a moment, and I'm going to come back and read chapter 8. And then we're going to read chapter 9. It's a big one. But I'm going to do chapter 9 later in the morning. Or tomorrow, or later in the evening of today. So today is 1:04 a.m. on Thursday, February 27th, 2020. Like I said, we've all chosen our sides now, and if you haven't chosen your side yet, your side has already been chosen, and you'll get into the side that you're meant to be part of. You're okay. Just follow your heart, do what's right for you, and you're going to be with the people you want. If you realize that you're with the wrong people and the wrong belief and you've been tricked, don't put yourself down. Don't see yourself as bad for not being in tune or aware. It's okay. We're all being misled in many ways. Even I have been and may still be in some forms. But we're learning. I'm not as misled as I was, but I'm learning what is really going on and how to look at things. And it's okay. Follow your heart. Do what's right. Be there for one another. You're becoming better. Anyway, there you go. And I bless all of you with all my heart. To your souls. Focus on your healing. Focus on who you are and that you are okay. You're already healed. You're already healed. You're already healed. I bless you all. Think with your heart. Think with your soul. And thanks for taking the time to listen to all of these recordings. I know they're long, but those who have opened and chosen to listen, or that will be healed and helped. But it's not about listening to the CDs or recordings. It's about calling and getting a hold of me. And meditating with me would be the best way to do these things. So focus on these healings. If you can't do that, then just know I'm going to do some meditation focusing videos later on this channel to help with that. I'm doing it from the heart. I'm not doing it when I feel comfortable doing so. But it's better if we do it together over the phone or together with each other. Even friends that have chosen and that I've told many times we should do this, I don't expect them to do it if they don't feel they have the time. But I hope that they will. That goes for my friends in the communities that are choosing to follow what they think they need to do. I hope they will meditate with me. Simply meditate in the way, even if they don't think it will work. Believe in that belief and give the benefit of the doubt and hope that it will so that it can. And then just do it with me when you have time and know that it really matters to me that I would hope to do it every day or at least once in a while when they're able to. But the sooner we do this and do it urgently, the sooner I can be protected and they can from what's being put together. This is how we stop this war that's against all beings. Even if you think that you're the leader over us and you're the higher form, you're enslaved by some other form of society. And you're just doing what you think you should do for your alien species or your connected programming species or your AI controlled connection. Let me tell you something. You should follow the emotional understandings of others, even if you don't have emotions yourself. Follow the heart of me, those who want peace, who care and are doing our best. When we're healed and provided what we feel will heal us and provide healing in ways naturally and utilizing it any way that we feel heals us, then and provides us our manifested needs so then we can actually heal us in the ways we want or go towards what we know is working, then work with us, please. Let us have the freedom to do the things we know are helping and help us have the full knowledge and understanding of everything. Stop hiding and lying to us and then be there for one another. People are trying to ignore the ideas of natural free healing, and that's oils, organic oils, lavender. That's also vibrational focuses. That's also focus on thoughts, feelings, and emotions about others, positive, good vibes, focus, talking to your food, talking to your water, loving it, thinking it in whatever way you can and feel comfortable doing it, and doing it for each other. And doing that as you grow your foods and grow those things and create a better reality. That is the focus. That is the heart. And then we'll get the right answer when we focus on peace. If we're not following peace and we think we are, or we think we're doing what's natural and it's not, the higher forms will re-educate and help us with the right way of knowledge, but will still let us do the natural ways that we know have helped us. And then we'll be aware of what's really going on. And we'll be given the right answers. I'm pretty close to the answers. I just would like to see the answers more, the ancient texts, remedies, and awareness, and then have the funds to grow those, or have people provide them for me if I can't grow them. So that's what it's about. So I bless you, I forgive you, and I care about you. We're doing good. We're learning. We're growing. And we're becoming. We are that which we wish to be. Have wished to be. We now are already that. So I bless you that it's already happened. It's already happened. It's already happened. It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. Now, now, now. For all your desired life and needs are met. Your required healing and manifestation of financial security is already there for you. And freedom society is now built. So no longer currency is no longer required. We can manifest and help each other without needing currency. But until that's the case, we have all the means that we need. So we're good to go. So I bless you. I care about you. You can reach out to me. My name is Samuel Durbidge. You can email me at durbidgesamuel@gmail.com. And then you can call me at 801-499-4494 to work with it. The sooner you do this, the safer it will be. If I do block calls for my safety, and I record all calls and things for my safety. So I appreciate you. I know that things are happening. So be safe and know that things are starting to become that which we wish them to. So there you go.